Hi everybody. I did want to say thank you for watching these videos. I try to make videos that are interesting, but mostly they're important to me. Current topics, usually based on conversations I'm having with people or things that I'm seeing and learning about. And that's what this week is about. I have 3 unrelated random topics. I hope they're encouraging. 2 of them are light, one of them's a little more heavy, but I'll jump into the first one, and it's a documentary recommendation. So it's called My Octopus Teacher. For me, it's on my Canadian Netflix. I hope you can find it. It's really worth watching. It covers topics, obviously, about science, but mental health as well. It's visually stunning. It's got drama and intrigue, and it's really put together well. You will learn something new for sure, and for me, it was a real escape from 2020, so I highly recommend it. All right, let's get the second topic out of the way. It is the more heavy topic, and it's political in nature. I know I don't want to make a political video, but I'm hearing something that is so fundamentally false that I just have to share. You know, if you imagine hearing somebody say that the earth is flat, and I'm going to vote for a flat earth, you'd feel compelled just to step in with some basic education. That's what I'm trying to do, okay? I'm not trying to convince you how to vote or to change your politics. Okay, I'm just hearing people describe nations like Scandinavian nations, European nations, even Australia, Canada, describing these nations as socialist nations. No, they are not socialist nations. It's so basic. There are only 4 socialist nations on earth: China, Cuba, Vietnam. I can't even remember the last one. It's so easy to look it up and find out, but there's 4 of them. These countries, and even I'm hearing people describe left-leaning parties as socialist parties. No, they are not. How can I explain this to you? Take a champion of a conservative party, like Ben Shapiro in the United States. Here he is, Ben Shapiro. I read his entire book this past summer. I had time. It was 2020. I read his entire book. Okay, this guy, he's an educated guy, right? He has some claims. I don't agree with everything that he says. Some of his stuff is great, but at least he bases his claims off of research and education. And so I respect him. He would never describe these nations, these Scandinavian nations, European nations, for example, he would never describe them as socialist nations because they're not. Everybody in the educated world understands this, okay? They are capitalist nations. They have been capitalist nations for like 60 to 80 years, since World War II. You can learn this stuff so easily. Anyway, they're capitalist nations. I can quote him if you want. They're capitalist nations with expensive social programs. That is a fact, okay? So voting in a left-leaning party is not going to turn your nation into a socialist nation. It hasn't for 80 years, okay? So you don't need to get sucked into some fanatical, even if the leader of your country is screaming that it's going to turn your nation into a socialist nation. That is a joke. Just a basic education would tell you that that is not true, okay? Go ahead and look online. Look up where are the best, I think I've said this in another video, where are the best places to live? And look it up based on different criteria. Here's a bunch you can think about. And there's so many different polls and results from different institutions and companies. These countries that are socialist, right? These Scandinavian countries, they're on the top of the list year after year as the best places to live. Now I feel like I am trying to tell you how to vote. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Please just stay educated. Don't get sucked into the craziness out there. All right, lastly, this week I was listening to a song by Weezer called Beverly Hills. It's an older song, really catchy. Maybe doesn't have the best message. It's all about living this movie star Hollywood kind of lifestyle in Beverly Hills, partying it up. But there's one line in the verse that says, "I'm sitting by the pool because I'm the next big thing." And it just made me think, often we try to look for these things that we can do that'll spike our happiness. Whatever it is, simple things. You know, go to the movies, or, I don't know, go to a fancy restaurant. I've even had friends that have got on a plane, go to Las Vegas, and come back in like one weekend, you know, and looking for this really spike in happiness and excitement. And that's great. But I was just thinking, what if I could try and get that just to last a little longer? Lots of times these spikes, they have a sharp, decline after. You're right back at work and you're like, well, yesterday I was having a party and today I'm back at work. I want to create some kind of, plan it out so that I have a great month. I want it to last longer, this happiness or joy or whatever, excitement. But I want it, it's probably not going to get as high as a trip to Las Vegas, which I've never been. Anyway, but I want to plan it out so that I just have a great month. So that when I look back, I'm just like, that was a fabulous month. What would it take to plan? What would I have to add to my month for me to look back and say that it was fabulous? And I don't know, think maybe you'd have to eat a certain food that you love, make that special meal with somebody, or avoid foods. For me, that would be great. Like I could just imagine if I stopped eating fast food, like even after week 1, I would just be like, right on, keep going, and by week 2, if I had completely cut out fast food, which would be very difficult for me, for an entire month, that would be just one thing, and I don't know, add dates with whoever, go on a date. That's always a good thing. I would for sure have to contact people. There's people in my life that I love talking to, and I don't mean typing messages to them. I mean calling them or doing a video call with them, because I just love talking to them. I'd have to add that into my month. Probably like a road trip. I love road trips. These are the things. What would you add to your month to just bump that happiness up? And have it last a little longer. That's it. That's my encouragement for this week. Talk to you more later.